Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the Joy of Being Alive. My name is Georgina, and it's an amazing pleasure to have you here watching today. Thank you so much. It means a lot because this is the first episode that we record in English for our English speaker friends. So thank you for supporting and for being there. And I'm very excited as well because today we have a very special guest that I've been wanting to invite to a space and talk to for a very long time. His name is Brian. He's based here in the island where I'm based as well, in Gran Canaria. And it's also a very special moment as well to be talking with him because he's going to tell us a little bit more about it in a bit, but his focus resides on how can we like self-master our own being, how can we alchemize truth, our own truth, and then how can we take that and explore it with the other in relationships, in our marriage. So it feels very aligned that we're starting to talking about that now that for my astrology friends, the Sun and Venus has entered Scorpio, and it's all about our relationships and how can we bring harmony and light in the way that we relate with the other. So it feels very aligned as well with the moment that we're all living collectively. So without further ado, I'm going to invite Brian to this space and we're going to have the amazing chance to talk to him live. There he is. Hi, Brian.
Hola, hola. Buenas tardes. Good afternoon.
Gracias for being here.
That was a really impressive introduction. Thank you for that. Like you
Mm.
hit it nail on the head. That felt really good. Thank you.
Thank you for being here and taking the time to share with us. It's, as I said, it's a very special occasion for me as well. So I'm very excited. So it's gonna be an amazing chat that we're gonna have
Yeah,
today, I think.
definitely. I'm glad we finally joined forces. It's been far too long. We kept saying we're going to do it, and it's finally happening.
It's finally happening. Yes. Thank you, Life, for that. So before we get into our conversation, for everyone watching here, if you've already tuned in with previous episodes, we always open up the space with a little, very small guided meditation because I feel like it's important when we are sharing these sort of spaces to connect with our being and with topics that sometimes are so deep and profound, like what we tackle here. It's very important that we're connected with our hearts and our bodies and that we can, whatever we talk about, we can also feel it in our
Yeah.
own flesh because I think it's all about embodiment as well. So we're gonna start with a little guided meditation, and after that, if you've already saw different episodes, I always invite the person who is here with us to share a song that connects them with the joy of being alive, and that's a very fun and beautiful thing to do because you actually realize how different that looks like and feels like to different people. And I think it's a very nice way of exploring what is joy and how do you connect with it. So after this little meditation, I'm just gonna play this song, and there I invite you to just feel it with your eyes closed and just feel what it feels like to connect with this song and from this like lens of Brian.
Yeah.
And then from there we're gonna start a conversation and see where that takes us.
All right. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Crazy.
Okay. I'll invite you to just close your eyes and find a comfortable seat wherever you are. And we're gonna start tuning in with our breath, just paying attention how we inhale through our nose and how we exhale through the mouth. Just keep the natural rhythm that feels good for you, or just keep paying attention to what it feels like to be breathing today, what it feels to be alive. And I'm gonna invite you to place your hands on top of your chest, wherever it feels right, just to start connecting with our heartbeats. I just appreciate for a moment that this heart is what keeps us alive, connected with this life force. And let's just give huge thank you to this organ that reminds us that we are here in the here and now. Let's keep breathing consciously, paying attention to the rhythm. And from this space, I invite you to keep your eyes closed if that feels right for you. And I'm going to start playing his amazing tune that Brian sent me. And here, just allow your body to express whatever it wants to express. Just feel that beat. Let your body move.
Sit with evidence of a generation, world of see. On top of days from the states to the way, all will be revealed.
Hi. Thank you, Brian, for playing this tune.
Oh, I'm so ready now. Let's go.
That's the attitude. Yeah, this definitely tunes us with the right energy here.
I tell you what, that's I play that song Kashmir by Led Zeppelin probably every single time. Like I go into a workshop that I'm leading, go into a speech, I go into a space because it brings me to a place of like such grounded confidence. Like the beat, the music, it just puts me in my power. And when I'm in my power, I'm in my joy,
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
like people may feel like it sounds a bit rough, but for me, I don't hear rough. I just hear confidence. And so yeah, no, thank you for
Wow.
that.
Ooh, that was such like a beautiful way to start. When I'm in my power, I'm in my joy.
Mm, 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 mm.
that's, that's something that yeah we can definitely cover because sometimes like power is so related to other sort of like energies and dynamics that people a lot of the times are even scared of power, right? And
Yeah,
what it means for you to be in your power like
yeah.
today.
So for me, for example, like to me, what right now to be in my power, it means to be authentic. It means to be out of my head, out of my mind, in the sense that I'm not allowing like my thoughts of like performance. Because naturally, be on the screen, I'm here with you. We're going to talk a little bit about what I do personally, professionally, and of course, just by being viewed, like the performer wants to come out. And sometimes that's okay, but I just want to be here. And so my
Mhm.
power is just like letting you see me, like in whatever light that is, whatever that sounds like, whatever that expression is, and just accept who I am and how that expression comes out. Like to me, that's my power.
Powerful. Love
Mhm.
that. Thank you for sharing that. And I would like to keep the conversation going by just asking you very simple question, but that I'm starting like to force myself to do every single morning because that really connects me with the joy of being alive. And that is, what are you celebrating today, Brian? What are you
Mm.
celebrating?
It's a deep question.
Hmm.
What I'm celebrating is a shift, a big shift. in my marriage, a connection with my wife. We had a very, very, very intense day yesterday. It was very revealing for the both of us. I won't speak for her, but I'll speak for me. It was very revealing for me. And even though it was, a conversation that didn't feel like joy, it hurt. I felt scared. There was moments of sadness. There was moments of even fear of like,
Mm.
we're really opening up in a way we haven't before. So what does this all mean? And but after all that, there's connection, there's space, there's growth, and I'm celebrating that we didn't give up on each other.
It's
Celebrating
incredible.
that I was able to allow myself to really let her see me, like in
Mm.
my doubts and my fears. I'm celebrating that she allowed me to see her, that she respected my request, and I'm excited for what's to come. So I'm in all that celebration right now. Yeah.
Wow. I celebrate that with you. That's so beautiful. Thank you
Mm.
for sharing it.
Yeah, I was expecting that. Thanks. Good question.
That was a beautiful answer. Very honest. I really appreciate you opening up about your personal experience. Means a lot. Well, I can say that, I married my husband now a month ago, and yeah. I didn't expect that to transform that much the way I perceive relationships, but I think it's, you can call it like energetically or formally, what, like in so many layers it transforms you so much because you start seeing life through a different lens, right? And what's happened in my case is that I've started to see a lot of layers, a lot of like parts of myself that I think I was hiding away from. A
Yeah.
lot to do with commitment, with communication, with being honest with myself first, and then how I'm honest with the other.
Yeah.
So wow, yeah, that really creates a space for personal development. And wow, yeah, it's a revealing space to be in when you're married with someone. So I think you're one of the only people that I've seen out there that talk so honestly and openly about what it means to be in a relationship for you, of course, from your
Mm.
personal lived experience, which is I think what makes it so valuable and so
Mm.
trustworthy, right? And like I've always, yeah, like checked your account, looked at your videos to really get to know parts of myself, maybe that, or like, yeah, parts of our relationship that I was not truly like ready to face before. And you've been like a big reference for me on that front. So I just wanted to, yeah, thank you for the service that you're doing out there, because I think you're shining a lot of light on
Yeah.
a lot of people that are struggling with such like a complex topic, which is like relationships, right? And marriage. I think it's like easy, yeah, easier said than done. But I wanted to ask you because, of course, in the end, when we talk about relationships and how we relate with the other, like there's like the first relationship that we always have, like in the
Mm.
world, and that is with ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, like, I'm sure you've had like a lot of experiences in your life where you've like experienced a lot of like different situations with different people. But I wanted to ask you if there was like a turning point in your life where you like saw that and felt that very clearly, that it was not all the time about the other, but about
Mm.
yourself and how you had that relationship with yourself first. I don't know, was there like a situation or something that you lived that you would like to share with us that was like this, click for you where you started to really work on yourself and get to know yourself, so then
Yeah.
your relationship with the other could be healthier one.
Mm. Yeah. Of course there is. You're asking the heavy questions first. Man, you are
I'm
going in
sorry,
there.
Brian. I should have
Woo.
warned you.
No, it's cool, but it's all good. It's all it's all going where it needs to go. So yeah, so when did I start to really understand that the relationship had to start with myself first? That was
Mm,
about 4 years ago. Immediately after we got married. my wife and I, about 4 years ago. Now, to be honest with you, though, it wasn't the fact that we just got married that triggered that. That was just that was like the next big thing that made me feel a certain kind of pressure that something had to change. So, just without going into all the details, before we got married, I had closed my first business that I ever opened. And so that was a bit of a transition for myself of like going from, relying on a business to figure out what am I going to do. I was doing several different projects, like selling things on Amazon. So I was trying to, to make a living, trying to be a provider. I was also learning how to play the saxophone for my wife to play at our wedding. So I didn't know how to play that. So a lot of stress and pressure. I was taking intensive Spanish classes so I can speak my vowels in Spanish, like the most clear as possible for her and her family. I was planning two weddings. We had a wedding in Gran Canaria, a wedding in Orlando, Florida. And there's a lot going on. But underneath the surface, which I wasn't aware of, is I was struggling to find value in myself, like as a man, right? Like I can't say like it would be different for men or women. That's really not important. But as a man, I was struggling because I wasn't bringing in consistent money. I didn't really know what the direction was. I didn't know, like, as you know, on the island, it's a bit limited here. It can be, all right? And I saw limitations. And so since I kept seeing limitations, I felt like the way to earn money and provide for me and my wife. And then at that time, thinking afterwards we would have kids, like I felt a lot of pressure. Now coming back to the to Gran Canaria after our honeymoon, I was on the couch for about a week, like felt sick, felt just really like crap. And it didn't feel like the flu. It didn't feel like jet lag. It felt like it was all together. Just something just didn't really feel right. And it was at that point in time I just recognized that something had to change. I still didn't know like it was a me thing. All I knew was what I created in my life at that time. I didn't want that anymore. Like I was moody, with my fiance then wife. I was kind of always very much like in work mode, productivity mode. I really wouldn't allow myself to enjoy time together. We'd go to her family events, birthdays, Los Reyes, whatever, and I would just be there like in this physical, but like my mind was checked out, right? I felt myself with this constant pressure, like, and I just didn't want that anymore. And so it was at that point in time was the first thing that gave me the clue, like, okay, you know what? All this stuff of me being moody with her, wanting more from her, more from the marriage, not feeling like we're doing enough or doubting. Now I got married and now I'm already doubting, like, are we gonna last? All this stuff. It's like, well, Brian, is this really new information? Is this stuff new? And the hard, honest answer was no. I've also had that same feeling with the previous ex, the ex before that, and the ex before that ex. So you have to be honest and say, okay, well, what's the common denominator? It's easy to point the finger, but I'm the same person in every relationship. So if it felt like that in every relationship, maybe, just maybe, I had to start here.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that and opening up, yeah, to what you lived, because I think, like from the outside, there's so many preconceived ideas about what marriage is and how we're supposed to go through that experience. And I also had a very rough time when I was getting married, and I think I haven't really opened up myself to share much on social media yet, because it was a lot. It was a lot to realize that, as you just said, everything started with oneself, and everything, like all these expectations that you had on the other, was a lack of probably self-love towards ourselves,
Yeah.
and lack of value,
That
self-worth.
was very true for me. Very true for me. Still
So
is.
gosh, yeah, I really resonate with everything that you shared there. So yeah, thanks for your courage to speak up about it, because it takes
Yeah.
it takes courage. Takes
100%.
courage to be true and honest these days. Jeez. Wow.
But the funny thing is that you say that it takes courage to be true. And that goes back to, how we started the conversation of why it is that I find joy and power. Because
Mm,
for me, my story and my truth has been I haven't always been comfortable being open, honest, and authentic, thinking about how people are going to perceive me. thinking about
Mm.
how people are going to judge me because my marriage isn't perfect. I'm not earning the money that I should earn. I went to London. I have a freaking MBA, and I'm making less money than I did before I had the MBA. Like, and sharing that out loud and thinking, what are my friends going to say back home? What are my fraternity brothers going to say? What are my previous employees going to say? Because I'm now like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life, and I didn't want to share it. Now, the
Mm.
thing with that is, for me, is I get it. I get why I did it, and I get why people do it. But for me, every time I kept hiding myself like from my own reality, not only were people not able to authentically connect with me as a person, I wasn't connecting with myself. I was hiding from
Mm.
myself, right? Like I was trying to hopefully like don't shine the light there, Brian, because if you see that, then it's gonna mean something about you. And now it's like, okay, if I just take a step back and I just look at my life situation of whatever I am in the different aspects, there's no right or wrong to it. It just is. And so for
Mm.
me, actually, part of my practice and my ongoing therapy and growth is to be open in spaces like this. So that way I can't hide from myself. And I get to practice saying like my reality out loud. And if people want to judge that, I get to be okay with that. If people don't accept what they see here, I get to be okay with that. But I spent majority of my life, 3 decades, all right, almost 4 decades, almost 40, avoiding that part of myself and then me feeling like I have to hide from myself. I'm just tired of doing that. It's just it's not how I want to live the other half or two more thirds of my life. So I'll be 120 for sure.
Mm. Wow. Yeah. And that just reminds me of this concept that you use on your services and your practice, which is like truth alchemist. And that
Mm,
really brings me back to that concept, right? Because in the end you're like creating a space for people to really recognize what they truly are behind these layers, behind these preconceived ideas of their identities and all of that. And I wanted to ask you what sort of like practices, or how do you tackle like this practice of being like a truth alchemist? What does it entail in your own
yeah.
terms?
Yeah. So for me, just to give some context, like of what truth alchemy means, it makes sense to me, and then maybe outwardly people may not understand. But the way I see it is, if we think about alchemy back in the day, alchemy has a very broad use, but specifically it was like taking unprecious metals, copper, iron, things like that that didn't really have a lot of value. And then scientists back in the day, how can they turn that into a valuable something to be gold, like a valuable metal to be gold? And they do all of these kind of things. In some ways, they were successful to creating a new, improved metal, maybe not gold, but they were able to make it successful. So my thing is, okay, well, what about all the truths that I carried with me that aren't helpful to me? The truths about that I'm not valuable, that I'm not lovable, that maybe I that people aren't going to accept me, that maybe that if I fail at this thing, that makes me a bad person. All these truths that I believed to be true about me are not valuable. They don't help me. They don't serve me. They don't make me a better person. They only kept me small for me. So how can I take that and then make it into, say, okay, I want to take that and alchemize that into a new truth that serves me, that makes it more, creates more of a space for me to expand, to grow, to experiment and participate in life. To me, that's also going back to like the thing of like the joy of being alive. I'm finding more joy in the full range of life, which all the ups and the downs and what I would call good and what I would call bad, like I'm finding more joy in that. So the truth alchemy is that by being able to take these old truths that don't serve me and make it something new. What does that process look like? It's not really, and for me, it hasn't been a straight, easy process. I can't give like the one thing or the two things. What my practice today looks like is being able to be honest with myself and ask and be very critical of my truth that I tell myself. So, for example, now it's still today true for me, and you said this, is the sense of worthiness and self-love. When I
Mm.
find myself in a situation that I don't feel that someone loves me, or I may feel that they are rejecting me, I ask myself, is it true, Brian? Are they rejecting you as a person, or are they rejecting your idea? Are they rejecting you as a person, or are they rejecting your service because they don't want to coach with you? That's okay, but it's not you. Are they rejecting you, or are they rejecting maybe the way you show up because you're too energetic? I don't know. And that has helped me just to separate the thing that the person they may be saying no to, that's not me. Because for me, I
Mm.
was taking it all as to one. If they said no to my idea, they're saying no to me. If they didn't want to, go to the restaurant that I wanted to go to, they're saying no to me. If they didn't want to go on the vacation I want to go to, they're saying no to me. So part of that process to me was just being very critical of those questions and saying, actually, you know what? No, I don't think they were saying no to me. And if I don't have the answer, can I equally give the possibility that it's not me? Because in our mind, we tell ourselves a story. And so oftentimes we're so quick to go to the bad story and tell that story. Yeah, no, it was personal. They definitely were saying no to me for sure. But I've never spoken to that person. I never asked them. I never had a conversation. But in my mind, I know they rejected me. It was me. They were against me. So now it's like, okay, if I'm willing to tell myself that convincing story that it is against me without speaking to them, can I at least open the possibility that it's not me and give that some more value and be okay with that? I don't need to speak to them. I don't need to speak to that person. They can't give me what I want. Or maybe they can. I can't say, hey, wife, best friend, were you rejecting me or were you rejecting my idea? And then say, no, of course I wasn't rejecting you. I was rejecting the idea. That only feeds the surface level. But I don't want it to be dependent on their answer to feel good on the inside. So that'd be one practice, is the radical curiosity and being critical of that voice and being able to add a different voice in there and give it equal weight as the negative voice.
Wow. There's a lot to unpack there. Wow. Well, you were just, sharing your experience. I remember something that my dance teacher shared with me last week. And we were just sort of like, at a point of the class, we were improvising. It's like a class that's called organic movement. So it's all about your like true expression of the body, right? Like how does it move when you're connected with your heart? And like at a point we were improvising, and like in the end, when it comes down to movement and dance, improvising is like just transiting your life, right? Like living your own experiences, because you're just living in the here and now. Your mind cannot like take any play in what you're doing, because otherwise you just like get like frozen and like it's impossible to move. And like what she was saying when we were improvising, because some of us were having like some like troubles really allowing ourselves to be present and be free and allow our true expression to come out, she mentioned, like, she stopped us all and she said, you have to understand that you are not your creation. And that really like put off a lot of pressure that I always have in my mind, that the way I look, the way that people perceive me, the way that my creations could be perceived by others, like all of these are just like little parts of my identity and like what I'm doing in the world, but it's not me. Right? And that's just like such a simple way of just reminding myself that I am not what I do. I am not what I put as service to the world. I'm not what I create. I am, and that's it. And I think that that's something that I'm starting to apply as well in my relationship, because a lot of times when I'm like experiencing an exchange with my husband, I'm like, I don't know, without realizing I'm being mean to him, or I said something that hurt him, and then it's like all about really being compassionate with ourselves and understanding that we're not that thing that we just said, or not that emotion that we just like let the other experience because we said that. And it does all come down to our love for ourselves, and how we nurture ourselves and take care of ourselves first, so we can really always like come back to this safe place and say it's all okay, because we're gonna mess it up, and like it's never gonna be perfect. We're gonna hurt people, especially like those around us that we care about, and that's okay. But as long as we have this sort of like center anchored in our body, in our life, everything will be okay, because if you can do that from a place of love, the other person will know, and they will be there for you to help you just reconnect with yourself. And I don't know, I don't even know where I started this sort of like this comment, but it does all come down to self-love and self-worth in the end when we relate to others. And that's been a big revelation for me as well.
You said something that I think is really important, and I think that I know for a fact for me, it's been something I needed to understand. And I think a lot of people, they undervalue this. But you
Mm-hmm.
said to recognize one, that we're going to mess it up. And
Mm,
two is that we're going to hurt someone.
mm,
And, this is actually, so there's something that when I work with couples, there's a part like that I use essentially said that you're going to F it up, but we say the F word, like you're going to this up. And it's simply just to remind people that in this best effort that we're doing of this thing called life and this thing of trying to be a good wife or a good husband, that we're going to mess it up. Like we're going to say something, do something that's going to hurt their feelings, not because we wanted to. It's because it came out a certain kind of way. Maybe it's a word, maybe it's a tone, something that triggered them, and they are going to be hurt. And they may say, because you said that, I am now hurt. Because you did that, I am now hurt. And I know for most, all of my relationships, I took that so personal. Like, oh, I'm a bad person. I'm a bad boyfriend. I'm a bad husband because they said I did that. And I took on so much responsibility. And then just going back to what you said is like, if we can allow ourselves just to know that we're going to mess this up in someone else's eyes, or even for our own standard, like, and be patient and compassionate with ourselves, like that allows for so much more space for happiness, for joy, for growth, for experimentation. So just wanted to say that because I think it's such a thing that it's very undervalued that I know I didn't really embrace until only the past couple of years now. So
mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah, I think compassion towards ourselves is the key with everything we do in life. It doesn't matter if we're talking about relationships, our professional life, our
yeah,
career, family. It's like when you just, yeah, realize you're doing your best and you're being honest about it and you're taking responsibility for what you're doing, because
yeah,
responsibility is like the big thing that I think sometimes we don't pay that much attention to. Yeah, it's all love. In the end, it's all love.
yeah,
If we have
yeah,
the courage to be ourselves.
100%. Yeah.
Yay. And Brian, something else I wanted to ask you as well is how, so because we're talking about, our relationship with ourselves first and then
Mhm.
how that expands to the other. When we're talking about like joy and, just being grounded in the here and now, how do you have like a certain like practice or something that you do on a daily basis that connects you with this joy of being alive with yourself first?
Yeah. So my morning ritual,
Mm,
I can't say which one. So my morning ritual supports what you're asking, but it's not
mhm,
specifically for that. So
mhm,
my morning ritual is uh, have a glass of water. It really is. Rehydrating myself. I look in the mirror every morning while I'm brushing my teeth, and I give myself thanks for the day before. So I recognize myself for
wow.
everything, like even when I messed it up, when I said something to my wife, like in a very harsh tone, when I was hard on myself, for everything, I celebrate myself in the morning. From there, I go upstairs and I give gratitude, like to everything and everyone. I have a little altar set up, and that's just like my spiritual place, is to stop and be there, and just whatever comes on my heart. So it could be for my dogs, my cats, connections, new friendships, new possibilities. It could be everything. Just stop and give gratitude for where I'm at. Then I always open up with a little bit of some nice music. And I just open my body up, just animate my body after sleeping, which gets me back like present to just being getting back in the body. And then from there, I go into a meditation. And my meditation, mostly, I don't go into any particular intention. Like my meditation is really just to be with me and let
Mhm,
myself kind of like go to whatever thought is most present, most alive for me. Um, Most of the time when I'm in the meditation, I am doing a bit of a body scan, see if there's any kind of tension. Most of my tension is always here in my chest area. Everything else is usually pretty loose. So if it's extra tight, I'll really be focused on that area and kind of like say, okay, why is it tight? And kind of loosen that up. Most of the time, I don't get caught up in any particular thought, but if I do, I get curious. Like, okay, so like, what's this thought? Like this energy, this emotion that's still there, and I kind of dissect it. I kind of turn it around, change the perspective, and kind of like just
mm,
I don't come to resolution with it. I'm not trying to solve whatever this thought is. It could have been like a conversation in my men's group, and maybe I had an intense conversation with a brother of mine, and that still is there. So I'm not looking for resolution for that, but maybe just okay, why is there tension with this conversation that's there?
Mm.
And I just let it go, right? And so after that practice, then that's like the main core of it. Then after that, I usually read for about 20 minutes, and then I go work out. Now, working out also is part of my movement practice as well. But I'd say that first, like hour from the time I'm giving myself gratitude in the mirror to my
Mm.
meditation is probably like the core of helping me find my joy through the day. And again, my joy through the day is being able to experiment and dance through whatever life gives me and whatever feelings that come. Because to me, my joy isn't because something feels good in the moment. Like yesterday, the
Mm.
conversation with my wife, it did not feel good. It felt really uncomfortable. It sucked, you know. But after that moment, like finding the joy in that because something was created there. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's like when I
Mm.
ground myself in my day, it allows me to be more, how do you say, more of a participant through the day as opposed to getting washed away in the emotions of, oh my God, someone cut me off in traffic. Oh my God, my wife didn't clean this thing. Oh my God, my
Mm.
client showed up late on the call. Oh my God, like, okay, cool. This thing's happened. How can I just still
Mm.
be cool with that life is just happening, not to me, but for me, you know? So
Wow. Thanks for sharing that about, things that connect you with joy are not always comfortable to feel, because I think that helps us demystify a lot about what does,
mm,
the joy of being alive mean to a lot
yeah.
of people. And I do want to say that sometimes I think it's like an autopilot thing that we do, but we do try to like bypass like hard, like things that are hard for us to process in ways that just, I don't know, like shortcuts to like leave us to just stop thinking about something that matters to us because it's uncomfortable or it hurts at points, etc. But it's also about, yeah, not losing the perspective that even if it doesn't feel comfortable right now, it may bring you joy tomorrow, because this is just showing you maybe a wound or something that needs your light, you know and not losing that perspective that just keep doing what feels right and what feels, yeah, just right in the present moment, so tomorrow you can just reconnect with that joy and give thanks to you for having the courage to have
Mm,
done that work, right? For
yeah.
like shining that light. And I think that's something very important that we need to remind ourselves first and then others, because
Mm,
here in this space where we talk about the joy of being alive, we're not talking about how can we like 100% 24/7 being like smiling and happy. It's not about that. Life is just it's like a wave of emotions, experiences, and we gotta serve them all. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
important to connect with that, and to give thanks to those rough moments as well, because they definitely bring us a lot of love and light as well.
Yeah, 100%. That's beautifully said, Georgina, man. And what I like to add on to that is I think that's the key word. If people, I guess the invitation for everyone out there is to say, what does it mean to be alive? Like, actually,
Mm.
really don't say alive. Yeah, it means to be, alive. I'm living, I'm breathing. No, actually, like, really, what does it mean to be alive? I mean, there's alive doesn't mean that we only feel the good things. Alive doesn't mean that we only have pleasure and bliss and joy. Like, alive is the full range, the full experience of what being alive is. If we even take it back to nature, like there's a lot of natural disasters that we as humans call disasters, but things need to happen to keep this earth breathing. We need to have hurricanes, tornadoes, volcanic eruptions, tsunamis. All these things are just life happening. And for us, we see it as this kind of horrible thing. But no, in that destruction, in that breaking down, in that burning of forest fires, there always comes new life. There's always evolution. So being able to say, right, like, damn, what does it mean to be alive? Like, would I really know what true love is if I've never been hurt? Like, would I
Mm.
really know what bliss is if I've never been in pain? Would I really know what it means to feel support and secure if I've never felt, unsafe? Like, there has to be this kind of bringing the full spectrum of life together, at least for me, because we're on this like this the like the United States, like the pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of joy.
Mm.
We're always behind. Like, I want to just get the happy things, the good things, and then if anything feels bad, then oh my God, my life sucks. Oh my God, why does it feel bad? No, it's just life happening. That's it. Relax, take it easy. But it's easier said than done.
It is easier said than done, for sure. But yeah, oh yeah, it just feels so alive right now that we're talking about this because honestly, it's not a coincidence that yesterday we entered like Scorpio season, and Scorpio
Mhm.
is all about death and rebirth and how can we like,
Mhm.
like give space for something new to just come to reality. So geez, yeah, so much to unpack there. Love it. And then going back to my question about how do you cultivate this sense of joy in your day to day, is there something that on a relationship level with your marriage and your wife this time you like to cultivate to like keep the relationship alive, to feel like both of you are really, in a place of joy and bliss and yeah, really connected with each other? Is there something you would like to share with people, maybe like some keys from your experience about how to keep things alive?
Yeah. Um, so it's always the choosing which is going to be the one the most effective. So for me, what's helped shift the joy in my marriage, actually, it is going back to what we talked about. One, knowing that I'm going to mess it up, and then so is she. And what I mean by that is just as much as I put pressure on myself because I want to be an amazing husband, I don't want to hurt her. I want to feel like I'm making her happy. I want to feel like she feels safe with me. And that puts a lot of pressure on me to want to do that in a lot of ways of how I show up. And so if I have that internal battle, that internal desire, then I imagine so does she. And even though when I want to try to get it right and I don't, and I feel bad about it, I imagine so does she. So if I can think of like, okay, she said that thing that I didn't like, or she forgot this, or she didn't pick up my food, or whatever, like versus being like a critic and a judge to say, oh my God, see, look, this is why she's a bad wife. See, this is why she doesn't love me. This is why she's not serious about me. This is why I'm doing more in the relationship than she's doing. It's like, yeah, that's one story. Or the other story is she's not perfect. She's going to F it up. She's going to mess it up. And her best effort to be an amazing wife for me, that same pressure that I put on myself, that she's put on herself for me, can I give her compassion and grace? The same compassion and grace I give myself. Can I allow her to be human? Can I allow her to evolve in this process? So that's a constant reminder to myself to just allow myself to be human and her as well. Now, that's from an individual standpoint. From a couple standpoint, communication, actually blocking off a set time every single week at a specific hour, and let that space be sacred for open sharing, open thoughts, communication about where you guys are, like what's been alive for the past week. Because even though you live together and you talk all the time, sometimes we talk past each other because life is happening. Like we all have things going on, but this time we are stopping. And we're gonna say, you know what? Yeah, this is what's been happening in my week. Actually, you know what? When you said that thing, I just want you to know I'm not mad about it, but I just want you to, when you said it, it did make me feel this way. Take responsibility for my emotions, but just they know where I'm at and they get to do the same thing. And we're not there to fix it. We're not there to say, oh, well, why'd you feel that way? You should have felt that way. It's not about that. It's not about that. It's just about open communication without trying to always make it a thing. That's helped us keep the lines of communication clear and keep the energy open and without allowing things to build up. And so I think it's that maintenance, which is why I have my morning ritual. Like it's like my maintenance to keep myself on track. Do you know what I mean? It's like brushing your teeth
Mm,
every single day. If you stop brushing your teeth for like a week, you're going to notice that you stop brushing your teeth for a week, so you do it every single day. Same thing.
you definitely notice. Yeah, something that I would like to share as well. That's like the more I think about it, the more I'm appreciating how valuable it is every time that we with my husband we go to bed, it's like our sacred moment, our sacred time to just together reflect what was our favorite thing of the day or what we
Mm,
realized on that day, and we always have like one turn and then the other, and we both like share from our own perspective what was special about the day or what we'd learned. And now, like, looking back, we just started doing it intuitively because I genuinely wanted to hear what was his experience of the day being like, because as you said, even if we spend the day together, it's just literally two different living experiences of the same situation. So, that's something like that we always cultivate, and I think keeps us very connected, very honest about ourselves and how we're feeling together as well. And it just takes 5 minutes before going to bed, and just the intention. I think it's
Yeah,
all
yeah,
about the intention, right, of like creating these sacred spaces of open communication.
yeah, yeah. And that's a
And that's
great one,
what it
Georgina.
takes.
That's a great one. That's something we've done not as consistently, but that's a great one. And again, I think something that's undervalued
Mm.
because we think we do speak all throughout the day. Sometimes we speak about like things that we have to do, the household, kids, job stuff. We don't really speak. And so just to take a pause in the day before you go to bed and just say, hey, this is what I'm grateful for today, or this is what was meaningful to me today. It's like, oh, wow, okay. Now I learned something from you that wasn't in a rush, that wasn't like walking around. Like I get to hear that. That's a beautiful practice.
You could try it out and see what see if it
Yeah,
serves you. But yeah, it's just as simple. And like now we're talking about the other, but that's something that we can do for ourselves as well on a daily basis. And like journaling or like
yeah.
writing, drawing, whatever it is that connects us with our true self. It just like it takes intention. I think in the end it's all about intention and doing things intentionally, and having that like open mind and heart to experience it all and embrace it all, and in the end it's all good.
Yeah,
It's all
100%.
right.
And it always is. And I just
Mm.
want to double down what you said about intention. This is so going back to when I'm working with couples, the process that I take them to that I created is called intentional union. Let's create a union with intention. Let's not just dump into it because like this is what our parents said marriage looked like. This is what the movies say marriage looked like. This is what I think marriage looks like. Actually, what do I want or what do we want our union, our marriage to look like? Let's do it with intention and let's go for it. But going back to the same ideas with ourselves, it's not about being perfect. It's not about like this is how my life has to look. If it doesn't look that way, then I've messed up. No, it's just what's my intention of actually like what do I want to how do I want to show up today? How do I want to express today? How do I want to be? What kind of energy that is? I think that's just the intention is just such a powerful tool. I think again undervalued, underrated.
Totally, totally. And yeah, that's actually something that I've been joking about with Ricardo, but I think we're gonna do it. I was I was joking about like creating a sort of like workshop for us to come together and really like like map out what's our ideas of marriage, and like this union that we've created, because it does feel, yeah, underestimated at points. Like you're literally just choosing to be with the other person and like building a life together. You really need to be clear about
Yeah,
what are like everyone's expectations, and what
yeah,
are each one, like our visions, and then like find like a common ground where these ideas and these ideals can come together, and actually just, yeah, just create something beautiful. But yeah, I was joking around that idea, but I think I'm gonna make it and see what
yeah,
happens, because it does,
absolutely.
yeah, it does feel very, very important. And in the end, yeah, as you said, just coming to terms about what does it mean for us as a couple and as individuals to be in this union, and just be true to ourselves. Like it doesn't have to like fit in a box that people have told us. Like
Exactly.
it's definitely not going to fit in anyone's other boxes, because it's our reality and our life and our relationship. So
Yeah.
yeah, being open about, yeah, just defining things in a different way, and just embracing that. That's okay.
Yeah. Man, celebrating YouTube big time for doing that because that takes courage. It takes courage to like to say, let's build this, like let's start from scratch. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what the outcome is going to be, but let's do this. Like that takes courage. But that's again
Mm.
to me, that is joy. To me, that's what a successful marriage is. Not did you fulfill the intention? Not did you get it perfect on the first try? The fact that you guys stopped and said, "Hey, like let's do this together and let's see how it evolves. Let's see how it changes." Like to me, that is a healthy
Mm.
relationship. So kudos to both of you for doing
Yeah. Let's see.
that.
Let's see what happens. Give it try to. I
And
thank you
just know you
very.
both are gonna mess it up, but it's all perfect. It's
Yeah.
all good.
Good. We're in a safe space. We're in a safe and loving space.
That's good. Yeah.
There's always room for that. Otherwise, improvement, and self-actualization couldn't be a thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
we have to embrace that.
Mm.
Hi. That was such a beautiful conversation. Wow, that was a lot that we covered in almost an hour, Brian. Ah.
Flew by. It's very natural, very natural. That's cool.
Yeah, it felt so amazing. Thank you so much, Brian. Is there anything else you would like to share? Maybe there's like a service or workshop that you're planning that maybe you would like to share a little bit about before we close the streaming.
Yeah.
It's
So
coming up.
There's a couple of things. So this Saturday, I'm hosting with another friend of mine, Julie. We're doing a workshop online, 3 hour workshop, essentially around relationships, and
Mm.
talking about how to demystify relationships, how to take responsibility, and then how to really love yourself in relationships. And so that's going to come up this
Ooh.
Saturday. So if you guys are watching, or wherever you're watching, you can get more information on IG channel, or yeah, the IG on my profile. This Sunday, for all the men here in Gran Canaria, I'm hosting another men's group. This will be in English. This will be in Las Palmas. So if you guys are men on the island who are anything like me and just love to have like some cool guys to drop in with, have some great conversations, just be real, be honest. Maybe just we can play, whatever it is, but just like to have like a different kind of connection, like reach out to me again. You can find me on whatever some platform you're on. More higher level stuff, like from an individual level, from a coaching standpoint. So like, if you are looking to help really evolve your identity of who you are and want to try out a self mastery path, our self truth alchemy path, contact me. And then lastly, for couples as well, as I mentioned, like I do a process called intentional union with couples, and that's to help them build their relationship how they want to, like to have the courage to do that. And it can be a challenging process. You have to get past all these beliefs that we carried on to, but in the end, it's a beautiful process because what the result is, whatever the result is, it's yours. You've created that. So yeah, all those things. There's some things coming in the new year, but that's more current right now. So
Thank you for sharing yourself, Ryan.
yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you, thank you, thank you.
yeah.
Yay! Let's keep being ourselves and shining our light to the world. The world needs it. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Brian, for sharing this space with me today. It means a lot that you accepted this invite, that you took the time to share your experiences, your wisdom, your knowledge in such challenging time that some of us are living right now. So it's always a pleasure just having people like you around, inspiring us and really guiding us towards the light.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
thank you,
Yeah,
Brian. Thank you,
you're very
thank you, thank
welcome.
you.
And obviously, thanks to you as well for creating a space for being able to share your story, your journey,
Mm,
and bring other people into the conversation. At the end of the day, the beautiful part about what you're doing is you're allowing people to just share their story. My short story is no more valuable than yours or than any other person's. It's a story, and the more that we can all share that we're all doing the same thing, we want the same thing, we want joy, we want love, we want to be
mm,
accepted, and we're doing the best damn job we can.
yeah.
That's it. So kudos to you for making this happen.
Thank you, Brian. I wish you an amazing rest of the day. And hopefully, I'll see you in the flesh sometime soon in the island.
So we're gonna stop talking about it and be about it. So when we get
And be
off of
okay.
this, we're gonna make this happen behind the scenes.
Okay, we'll make it happen. Thank you so much, Brian. Have a
All right,
lovely,
cheers.
lovely, lovely day. Bye,
Thanks
bye,
you
bye.
too. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Thank you so much to everyone watching. It was an absolute pleasure sharing this beautiful conversation with all of you. Just a couple of things before I leave. Just wanted to leave a note here that if you enjoyed today's conversation, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be inviting a lot of other people, friends, and just peeps that I really admire and that, gosh, inspire me on a daily basis. So I'm going to be doing that in English and in Spanish. So you can just follow me on Instagram as well and subscribe to my YouTube channel to keep track of everyone that will be here in this space sharing a little bit about their own stories. And yes, I'll be sharing very soon who's going to be my next guest. I'm going to be live streaming this space every Monday around like morning time or midday. So yeah, keep keep connected with me, and hopefully we can have a chance to share soon again. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for being. Sending you lots of love.